We're here at my home in Balmville, New York, interviewing two of my best friends, Paula Clark and Orly Steinberg, two of the top agents in New Jersey. Orly and Paula are besties for quite some time now.
03, I think.
03, so how did you guys meet?
I'll let you tell.
Okay, so I'll start. I was at a Coldwell Banker conference in Orlando, where one of my mentors and somebody I admire very much, Howard Britton, was teaching a class. And of course I would be in that class. And I went, as I was in that class, Paula approached me because she knew who I was in the business with Coldwell Banker in New Jersey. And we sat together and I said to her, if you want to grow your business, this is the man you should be listening to.
So I'm going to correct it a little bit because I always do. But it's funny because when you know Orly, and if you know Orly and you're watching this, Orly will speak her truth. That's Orly, right? And so I was kind of a newbie, like a deer in headlights, like just absorbing and just wanted to absorb everything I could about real estate to be better, always looking, just a sponge for education. And when I went in this room and I heard Howard speak, I was just floored. Loved everything he said. And I did not sit with you. I sat far away from you because I was still very shy about that. But you turned to me and said, if you do one thing, you go to his conference, it will change the trajectory of your business. And I said, okay. And
so that was 2003.
That was like, yeah.
So you know what's a little funny about this story? Debbie Yost said to me I had to go hear Howard Britton speak, and he spoke at a CRS event, and he's got this Midwest sense of humor, and he's talking about pigs in the sky, and I'm going,
what's time to a pig?
And I'm going, this is not my mentor. So I got up and walked out. I eventually
got it.
Came to love Howard and
of course
help grow my business. But I had the same thing happen to me. Susan File told me, I walked up to her and she said, you have to go work with Dr. Fred.
So the conference was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I went home and I said, Kevin.
This was Star Power?
Star Power Conference in San Francisco that summer.
And I went and hooked up I'd met Orly and we didn't text then. There was no texting really. We had Blackberries, I think. Yeah. And I invited you to dinner because Kevin, my husband's family, had a Mexican restaurant. I invited her and Noreen, her assistant then, and the rest is history. We sat down amongst food, which is what brought us close together too, because our traditions, our culture is very similar. Orly being Israeli.
Jewish and Greek, it's all about the food.
Yeah,
It's not just that. Being Israeli and Greek and having the Mediterranean culture, I felt immediately that Paula and I connected as human beings first. And it wasn't just because I was a top agent and she was trying to glean all the information from me, which you sometimes feel from people.
Yeah.
So it was very organic and real from the very start.
And when did you guys start to get really close?
I think almost immediately because
we met our husbands for dinner once.
Right. And by 2008, we went on vacation to Greece with both of our families and all the kids, and really got to be one family.
And when did we meet each other? It was Coldwell Banker, wasn't it?
It was a Star Power, wasn't it?
No, it was Star Power.
Okay.
So when we met in, I think it was Charlotte, but we met at the airport. And I was a little afraid of you because you were this big top agent in New York City. I knew I saw you on stage and everything else. And we just got talking because through Orly, and I just really liked you. I thought you were so open and wonderful.
But you didn't like me right away, did you?
No, I didn't. I don't think you quite got the Star Power culture. And you were coming from New York with a different attitude, a little bit elitist and pretentious. And that was a little...
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Told you, she says it like it is.
And it was a little off-putting because I was like, I'm a New Yorker, and like, who do you think you are, type of thing. But getting to know you over the years and you getting to know the culture, I think you finally took off the armor and the mask.
You became more vulnerable.
And you allowed us to see who you were as a human being.
Vulnerable all the time. You guys don't know what you're
Now
talking
you are.
about.
Now you were talking about back then.
Can I tell you, this is very perverse, but one of my greatest joys is when people who don't like me initially end up loving me. For whatever reason, that brings me a lot of joy. It's a little fucked up.
Works. No.
Happy to help.
What'd you say?
Happy to help.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So how has been being real estate besties and personal, I mean, you really are best friends in your personal life too. What are the benefits to that?
Oh my God.
So many.
The first benefit is that you have, being top realtors or being a realtor period, you can't really talk about a lot of the things that we go through, the challenges, the ups, the downs, the frustrations with your friends. There's a different dynamic.
Or the peers in your own marketplace.
Oh. Or the peers in your own market, or even your family. I mean, it's a very unique way of living and being. And very often you are the image to some people. You are different things to other people. But when you have somebody that you can be your entire self, the entire gamut of your values, which is, for us, family first, our core values, stability, talking about our husbands, being girlfriends, talking about business, all sometimes in
a little gossiping.
A little gossipy, even talking about sex. So we can talk about anything with each other in one conversation. And that's very rare that you have somebody that you can share your entire being with without holding back or filtering anything that you're saying.
Yeah, because, when you have an issue show up, or you're complaining that you didn't get a listing come list me call for 1 week. Who can relate to that? 1 week? Some people haven't listed something in 6 months. So who do you talk to? But we get each other, but we also get who we are, that what's important first, and we can get us out of that slump that we may be in.
And there's a lot of things that we do in the real estate business that would bore our mates to tears.
Totally.
And because of its 24/7 nature, it makes it, we understand we got to get on the phone all the time at odd times of the day and week. One of my dearest friends is Paul Grover, and some of the best vacations I've taken with him because, we don't get upset when the other one's on the phone.
Exactly.
It's a different parameter.
It's a different dynamic, exactly.
And and at different times of your lives, you're supporting each other through family, through business. Sometimes I need help with something, Orly's there. She needs help with something, I'm there. The support, it's everything. Support personally and business-wise is everything.
Yeah, I would recommend to anybody who is in this business and that's successful, go out to these networking events that you can find somebody in a feeder market or even across the country that you can have weekly phone calls with and make that deep connection. It'll be so rewarding personally, but it's one of the best out.
And together, meeting others within those ecosystems, we have created different tribes.
Right.
Because I think everybody in business, to be successful, you have to find your tribe.
You have to find your peeps. I always tell that to my daughters.
You have to.
And we do have a tribe of female realtors that we connect with every morning by email. We do a once-a-month Zoom. So it's having a broader support group.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot of, for us it had been CRS, Star Power, Rev. You're doing a lot of Tom Ferry now.
Huge and big in Tom Ferry.
So let's talk about how your friendship and some of your other tribes have helped you gain clarity about business. So for instance, you both have two very different lead gen models. Why don't we talk about that, how you generate leads in general, and Paula the same. And then let's talk about how seeing the other one do well in that model help bring you clarity about what's really important to you.
Well, one thing I will say is that what works in Orly's business may not work in my business and vice versa. However, there are things that overlap that I can share with Orly and she can share with me. Give you an example. I do a lot of EDDMs. I do disrupt pieces. I send out...
I don't know what a disrupt piece is.
So a disruptor piece is something that may have nothing to do with the stats of the real estate market, but yet you send something like, one disruptor piece I have is a picture of Kobe on the cover, and it says, real estate can be stressful, but we have you covered. You know, or are you exhausted? You know, and then, you know, Kobe's like this, just because it got someone's attention. Or I have a picture of a baby and it says, oh my God, what'd you get for that house? And it's a picture of a baby. So somebody sees that. That's a disruptor piece. So we share those things, as well as whatever I learned from Tom Ferry, I share with Orly. She learned some things and we all share each other. Everyone from Howard Britton to where we are today, you have to share. You have to be open to sharing. No one's going to steal your business. Everybody does business a different way. And so we share, and we share with others as well. We're an open book. We would love to educate and teach. We do.
Well, I always say if you gave the same chocolate cake recipe to 3 people, it would come out differently because you put your own personality into it, and you can't be me, I can't be you.
So let's talk about that. So we're going to go into coaching in a minute, but you being coached by the Tom Ferry Group has really helped your business, correct?
Since 2011.
It's really helped your business, plus it's created a secondary tribe for you.
Correct.
That of people that you've connected to and have this type of relationship, or some level of this type of relationship. Orly, who has had a very successful business for over 30 years, number one broker in Ringwood, New Jersey for over 30 years, and Paula has the top team in the Northern Valley in New Jersey for a long time too. You being besties with Paula, see how well she's doing with Tom Ferry, you decide to check it out yourself. You go and you see that it's not a good fit for you because you have 2 different business models. Tell me what your thoughts and your reactions, both positive and negative, and did that cause any tension between the 2 of you?
So it wasn't that we have 2 different business models and that's why it didn't work for me. It's because we were in 2 different places in our lives, and it took me a while to recognize that. So as I started the business, I would say 18 years before Paula. I've been doing this for 38 years. And my trajectory was up. As Paula was coming up in the business, COVID occurs. My business is now struggling, team-wise, for different reasons, internally, emotionally. I'm transitioning into my next chapter because I always ask myself, when is enough enough? And I'm trying not to strive in the business anymore. I want to relax. I want to thrive. I want to go into the next chapter.
And you have good money in the bank.
Yes, and I could do it, but it was a 5-year transition of detaching from my identity while Paula's identity is growing and she's becoming more and more successful. And that's what I really was struggling with. And I remember calling you one day in tears and going over the feelings that I was having about Paula's business growing, my business struggling, where I was in my life. And you said to me, you know what your problem is? And I said, no. And you said, you're out of alignment. Because what my heart was telling me was not what my head was doing.
Right.
But I still tried, because I've always been a education-based person, always growing the business, excited by it. So I said, let me try Tom Ferry. Let me see if I could ignite myself again and get passionate about it. And I hired Paul as coach. And at that point, I realized I didn't care to grow my business.
Right.
So all the coaching in the world from Tom Ferry, which was about more and more, I wanted my life to be about less and less. And that's why we started going in different directions, and that's why Tom Ferry couldn't work for me.
It's interesting because at the same time you were calling me, Paula was calling me saying, you know, I'm having problems and I don't know what to do. And what happened from my perspective was that you had always been the mentor, the teacher of Paula, and now Paula is up on your level. And now you were having some self-identity issues that you were thinking, oh, one of the reasons she loves me is because I can help her. And what happens when it shifts and we really are equals? And it took a while for both of you to adjust, but you did. And I feel like that's what a really successful relationship is being able to transition from times where there's a certain dynamic to a better dynamic that fits you later on in the relationship. Does that make sense?
So I think for Paul and I, it's not about jealousy or competition. It was more about being in different places in our lives, and would we still be able to share everything together if we were going in different directions. And I think that was my fear more than anything else, of if Paula was still striving and growing and I was no longer as interested and as passionate, would we have enough to talk about and be connected with?
And I was winning, really winning, and I wanted to share that with you. And I knew you were struggling, and that was hard. So that really separated us a little bit. Plus, I was getting another tribe, and this other tribe
Didn't include Orly.
Right.
And then you got other tribes too that I couldn't connect with. When we were always, it was me, you. We'd go to CRS together, we'd go to
Star Power together.
NAR together,
Rev.
everything.
Yeah.
And now I'm going someplace different, new friends. I'm going here, new friend. You know, you have these. So it kind of, but you know, we talk it out and we say what we feel. And if Orly ever said something hurtful or she wasn't supportive, I come out and say it. And if I don't call or text her, she knows something's wrong right away. She knows she did it and she'll own it. Same with me. We know if we've done something to hurt the other one, we say it. Like, she'll be like the first one to tell me, you know, your makeup really sucks today. You look like shit. When
I didn't say it quite that way.
well, I know. I take things that way. But the bottom line is, I expect it. Just like you expect me to tell you.
Right.
When your hair is too short.
Right.
But it's true. It's true.
So let's talk about communication. So in many aspects, this is about good communication and direct communication. And I feel like so many people and real estate brokers are so afraid of gracefully addressing problems with their team, with their loved ones, with other brokers,
With their clients.
with your clients in a direct and graceful way that it brings them a lot of fear. And yet you have learned in your relationship with each other, the better you communicate about what the issues are, because you know there's this core of really loving each other.
I was just going to say, you know, even if we're hurting each other, saying something, the other one knows that it's not coming from a hurtful place. It's coming from love. Maybe it's not being said in the right way, but it's coming from a good place.
So let's talk about direct communication. I'm going to start with you because that's who you are. And it's one of the things that I love about you. I feel like you and I are willing to call each other on our bullshit like with the drop of a hat.
Totally.
Is that a cultural thing for you? Is that did your mom teach you that? Where did you learn the power of direct communication?
So I think in my personality, my mother discovered when I was 6, don't ever ask Orly a question you don't want the answer to, because I think I've always been that way. But culturally, being both Israeli and a New Yorker, it doesn't get more direct than that. I've had to learn to diplomatically soften that and learn, gracefully how to share my directness. But I think most people know that it's coming from a good place and appreciate it. And if they're overwhelmed and can't hear it, then, I back off.
And we've also learned, I wouldn't say I coach you, but we have a lot of calls where I'm giving you advice on how to things. And one of the things that we've learned together about you is that when you're direct, but talking from your heart and not from your head, one, you're much more effective and it's easier for people to relate to you.
Right. So even with clients, I actually had a conversation with a client on the way here today because her mother has dementia. She's 88 years old. She doesn't work. She's overwhelmed by life on a good day. And we're dealing with some home inspection challenges that are both expensive and arduous to deal with. And we've been in this transaction for 3 months now. And I was going through my mother failing in health, being in rehab, the hospital, and then finally passing during this time. And even though our joint attorney was communicating with her all the time and I knew what was going on, she just didn't seem to want to get it. And we were just churning water and going around in circles, losing offers. We've lost 3 offers and not getting anywhere. So on the way here, I texted her earlier saying, we're getting another offer. She goes, can we talk? And so I said, absolutely. And I said, look, I really need to know, forget about the house. It's not about the house. What's going on in your life that is prohibiting us from moving forward? Because we're just going to not get anywhere. Is it the pain of the money to fix these things, or is it the pain of being overwhelmed and not being able to deal with these things? And she said, both. I said, well, I can help you with both, and I apologize for not being there for you as much as I normally am because what I was going through. And she goes, I totally get it. But after a long conversation, we finally realized that we can move forward and I can guide her and maybe even help her financially to get to where we need to get to.
And I think a lot of people would be uncomfortable saying, what is wrong, what's going on in your life? I think a lot of real estate brokers, but if you come from a really good place, a sincere, heartfelt place, how can that not be good?
And you develop trust. I mean, that's
Yes.
huge.
It's all about trust.
It's all about trust. So she trusted you to open up.
Right.
What's your journey been with communication, Paula?
Whenever I meet someone, I really do care about the person, what they're going through first, because that affects the whole transaction. You need to find what is that issue that they have, and you want to make them feel safe. They need to feel like you got this. We take it for granted that we sell and do 5 deals a week, and we're constantly negotiating, putting houses on the market. It's easy. This is what we do. But you have to go into every appointment and meet with that person. It's not a transaction. I mean, sometimes it is. But most of the time, the residential real estate that we deal with, it's all about relationship. It's all about that. So I sit down with them and I just ask questions and questions. And even before I look at the house, I'm asking questions. I'm asking.
Like what?
I'll say, all right, talk to me. Why am I here? Okay. What is your, and then tell me more. And why is this? And what is this? And why? Okay. And then I just keep asking, and they answer my question. I ask, tell me more about that. Tell me more. And I'm writing down notes as they tell me, because I know those things are important to them. And I'll say to them, what is the most important thing that you're looking for in a real estate agent? And they will tell you. And almost always they come out with, I need to trust, I need honesty, and I need you to guide me. You're an advisor in real estate.
Consultant.
You're a consultant first. So you need to focus on them, and then you need to figure out, and you're a problem solver. We are problem solvers.
But it all starts with proper communication.
But I think more than that, I think what our genius is, and top realtors, is getting the essence of who that person is.
We really did get that.
It's going into their soul. it's going to a place that they don't even know they need to go. Because once you get the essence of...
I'm going to say that's not all top realtors. I'm going to say that's the top realtors that we tend to hang with.
Correct. That you're right.
Because there's a lot of successful realtors that couldn't care less.
Yeah, that's so
you know
true.
what? You're 100% correct. I'm talking about the people that I connect with and why I connect with them.
The only way I can do real estate is this way.
Same.
We're not transactional.
But that's what I love about it. I mean,
Do you know I used to be transactional earlier in my career?
I can believe that. But that's, I think that's where we, when we first met you, you were more transactional than relational.
Now it just doesn't bring me the joy that...
No.
But that's what I've always loved about real estate. I've always said I get to be a voyeur into someone's life, learn life lessons from them that I can just bring into my own life while I'm guiding them. And I find that now that I'm older, with more experience in life, I'm really there as a life consultant, working the real estate into it. But it's really getting you from where are you now in this chapter of your life, and help me get you to the next chapter.
Well, it's interesting because our MBTIs of all three of us, Paul and I are both ENFJs, and you're an ESFJ, if I remember right. I'll double check it. But all of us like to find with that personality type is what would make those people the happiest in their life and how can you facilitate it? And that brings all three of us joy. So
100%, but it's also being able to see their life from 5,000 feet high. Sometimes we see their life clearer than they see it. For instance, yesterday I was at a listing presentation where they were in Charlotte, where their daughter lives and their grandchildren. They live in New Jersey, and they found one house that they're absolutely in love with and want to make an offer on, but needed to first know financially how they could do this. And I said to them, it's not about this one house. They showed me pictures of it. I said, not for anything. This is a beautiful home, but it's not a unique home. It's really more about you wanting to be closer to your family, whether it's this year or 3 years from now. And I'm sure if you don't get this house, trust me, you will find another similar home to this one.
which was great advice.
So they were seeing it very
Narrowly.
and I needed to broaden that up for them.
And today, and another good example is I got a call, and she said, I need to sell to buy. I've been looking at homes, and three different realtors never told me I should put my home on the market. I swear to God. And I'm like, something's not right here. Something's not making sense. I know that I have to put it on the market, and I didn't know that you could put in that listing, it's contingent on me finding a home actively looking.
Right.
No one told her that. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what idiots, right? And I'm thinking, yeah, but people don't know, and we think they do. And that's where we have to ask questions.
Tons of questions.
We don't ask enough questions.
Probably in all of our relationships.
Yes.
Isn't that right, Rob?
What question do you want to ask him?
Oh, it's not that. It's that, I love him very much.
Of course, we wouldn't be here.
But he'll be like talking with one of his good friends, and I'll say, what do they do for a living? And he'll go, I don't know. What's their, they just had a baby girl. What's her name?
Well, that's because you're the woman and he's the man, and men don't ask questions.
I give this.
Oh, now you just...
Aaron is the same.
You just back up a second, lady.
No, but it's
no,
true.
you two
You want to be a Jewish woman. You always told me that.
I want to be a black woman, not a Jewish woman.
No.
Let me just say, no, just you both be
gatherer,
quiet. I'm
and
the butch one about some things. Like fixing mechanical things, I'm the butch one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I know, it's surprising.
It is surprising.
I know. Well, on that, we're going to shift the topic a little. You have brought up coaching has been an integral part of both of your lives. Orly, let's start with you. I've known that you have coached with at least 3 different coaches.
Correct.
And I think one of the concepts that you've learned that everything has an expiration date, and so do coaching relationships.
100%. I mean, even being a coach, people outgrow you. They move on to the next level, and that's what you hope for them.
Oh, that's what I hope for my coaching
Yes,
clients.
you hope that for them. So as I've evolved as a human being and evolved in my business, different coaches served me at different times of my life for different purposes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Paula, on the other hand, has multiple coaches at the same time. And I'm going to say that that's one of the keys to your success is that you are curious and you want to learn from multiple areas and you want to be held accountable.
Correct.
So you, right now, do you have 2 or 3 coaches?
Well, I have you're my therapist coach, pretty much. We bring you in when, because my team love you. And my other coach from Tom Ferry, Jeff Mays, he's like really tough on them. And
he's the accountability
he's
coach.
He's the accountability coach.
I'm the one that keeps the team running cleanly.
Right, so that they are open to really what they want to do. And they have grown, and you have seen it from the time you've met with them. You get more into that, the crux of what's making each member on my team tick. And they learn differently, and you're giving them the permission, you give them permission to be able to play more, to have time, to time manage, to know that family's first and that's okay. And if their goal is only this, that's okay. Whereas I used to have a goal for everyone, which is ridiculous because my goal is always...
And you'll always be disappointed.
Right. Well, I always go for like, let's say 100 million. And if I make 90 or 75, okay. But I always go for the high. For a lot of people that doesn't work. It makes them depressed just thinking that they did not make that goal. I'm the opposite. I want to go for as much as I can. And if I don't, you used to say to me, Paula, you're not going to have time for all that. I said, if I don't, I don't, but I'm going to put it all out there. Like, I want a lot of it.
I'm going to say that one of the things that you do brilliantly, better than probably anybody I've ever met, is that you look for help in areas and you realize when the help that you're getting is not sufficient enough. So your Tom Ferry coach really is great on a lot of areas and handles a new tribe to you, which is great. But there's some areas, there's like some mind areas, some headset areas that it wasn't working as well. And that's when you could bring in somebody like me who would work on that. And we do our advances and maybe some other calls during the year. So when I first met you, when you were intimidated by me, which always amazes me because I think I'm such an approachable, nice guy. Look at the faces.
If you're looking at my face.
So I feel like when I first met you, I didn't see that you had the potential in you.
And that bothers me that you think that.
Oh, but it's even better because now it's so clear that you've always had that potential. I just didn't see it.
But I saw it.
Yes, Orly did see it.
I didn't see it, and I am even more proud of you. Not that you can be proud for somebody else, but I am more proud of you because you went way beyond what I thought you would because of those reasons that I just gave you about you always look to help you find the right answer so you can be the biggest version of yourself. And you do that better than anybody I've ever met, Paula.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Does it still bother you that I say that?
No, now you've prefaced it with that, no. But I remember back in those days when we were all sitting and I felt so less than because but I always wanted to surround myself by top and people with more knowledge or on the same, because I always felt like there was so much out there for me that was better. I just didn't know where to find it. But I always knew, and that comes from my mom, because she always had the best friends, great people around her all the time. And she was great at business and she was just a wonderful woman in that way. And so I got that from her where I always said, I want to be like my mom and have those friends. And I didn't know at the time that it would mean my tribe, my this, my that. But along the way, I knew I needed to learn, and I had to be with people that were better than me, because I would never learn if I hung around with people that weren't striving or wanted the same things. Now, I have to like that person, and when I met Orly, it was just immediate chemistry because of all the other factors around it. And that's my tribe now. Everybody, if, you know, they're changing their lives, but they understand where I come from. And when I sat with you and I was feeling so intimidated by not only you, I never felt intimidated by Orly because I was just learning from her, and she never made me feel that way. No one makes you feel that way, so I'm not going to say that. But I sat there and I remember saying to Debbie Yost, I said, I look at all of you and you're all so successful and it's so easy for you and you make it like, but I've been through so much, I don't know if I could ever get there. And she looked at me so transparently and told me about what she has gone through to get to where she was. And I said, everybody has something that they have to go through, and this is bullshit, and I'm not making an excuse anymore.
Well, that's what life on this human plane is about.
Right?
It's what life on this human plane is about.
But those moments of the conversations that I had
Life-changing.
with you, they were life-changing because that was part of the coaching too. Because it's not in coaching, it's not just my coach. That's not what gets you there. It's the tribe, it's the ecosystem around you, and it's doing the work that you're learning from that ecosystem.
And getting rid of limiting beliefs.
And I still have some limited beliefs.
We all do. We all do.
So I met with, I don't know if you ever heard of Chase Hughes, amazing man. And he went through, I just saw him the other day, and he was saying how everyone has stuff they went through, everyone. And if you have a limited belief, he says you should take that limited belief and put it right in front of you every single day, whether it's on a Post-it, on your wallpaper, on your phone. That limited belief, like for instance, my limited belief has always been, or has been for quite some time, my age. Can I do, excuse me, can I do this much as I age? And how much energy will I have? So he said, put on there, I couldn't believe this because I'm still struggling with it, but he said, put on there, you can't do shit because you're so old.
What? I like him.
Yeah, you do the opposite because you know that's not true.
Yeah.
So when you see it,
plus it motivates you and it gets you pissed off.
And I said, so then do I put myself with a picture of me old? He said, no. Your most beautiful picture next to, you can't do shit because you're old. But then you look at the picture and then, you don't look so damn, you look pretty good for your age, right? So I'm always learning things that could better myself with new people.
I like that.
I like that too. I think that's great.
Yeah.
So we're kind of edging onto this, but let's talk about some business practices now. First, let's start with, what do you, Orly, think have been the keys to your success?
So I think the key to my success has been learning how to brand myself very, very early on. Because of Star Power, taking a Hobbs Herder course.
Oh my God, Hobbs Herder,
Yes.
that's ancient.
Yes, one of them is still around. I forget which one at the moment. I think it's Hobbs. But anyway, taking a course and realizing, being as naive as I was then, that I could do anything, and inventing basically Only Orly. So Only Orly was a brand that I got 35 years ago, if not more, and branding myself into the community where you're the local mayor, you're the economic expert, you are the realtor of choice. I had a client call me the other day driving up from Florida and said, we decided to move and you're the only person that we would call. So in fact, another client saved me in his phone. I had a conversation with him 4 years ago, and he saved me in his phone, Orly Queen Realtor Ringwood. I cracked up, like that's how they would save me. So it was with a lot of postcards.
Or how about the seller that puts you in his will?
Yeah, well, I have a few of those, yes.
So let me just
Few of
say,
those.
back in the day, Hobbs Herder was really, really expensive. I
Yes.
can remember being shocked at the prices.
Yes.
And secondly, I would say that one of the keys to your success is you've always worked hard throughout your life.
Correct.
You put in the hours, you pick up the phone. And that's one of the keys that I see from all top agents. They put in the hours and they're willing to pick up the phone.
You know, I always...
And I say pick up the phone to call,
clients
their
or
clients.
expireds or whoever, but there's a difference between how you look at anything. Is it a job? Is it a career? Or is it your passion? And I think for the top agents that
Yes.
that are in my tribe, it's a passion.
Yeah.
And when you go into this like a business, I'm in the office every day at 8:30 in the morning. It's my business, but it's my passion, and you don't feel like you're working. Where other people treat it like a job, and a
Right.
job that they don't have to do 8 hours a day, and that's the difference.
Awesome. And how about you? What are your keys to success?
Knowing when we needed more customer appreciation and hiring the right people. We hired the right people on my team. And as we went on, I learned that each person has the talent to do something within your team to help you. And you have to put that right person with the right role.
Which is what an ENFJ does. That's what they do better than anything else. And your team is amazing.
Thank you.
And her team is all Fs on the MBTI,
Yeah,
except for Katie, your team leader is the only T, the only thinker. And I don't know what you do without her. She's so amazing.
Well,
She is.
so I made a T-shirt for her, a sweatshirt. It says, "Everybody needs a Katie," because it's true. But that's because she's been with me now 13 years. And I hear her. And I want what's best for her, too.
Right.
And my team knows I care about them. And everybody that I've met through Tom Ferry and their ecosystem, the teams all love each other that are doing really well. They all get along really well. And when you have one person that can be on your team, that can be a Cancer to bring that down, they got to go real fast.
How do you find people to bring on your team?
They kind of find me. So it kind of worked out where it just, like you always say, the universe, I don't know. Like Katie started out as a buyer's agent. I didn't know what I was doing back then and but as I went, I knew who to keep, who to let go. I knew who needed to be in this role, that role, whatever.
And some of them has weeded themselves out too.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. And thank God, because then I didn't have to fire them.
Right.
Because I'm not good at that. But I also learned that I was not the best hirer. I probably wouldn't have hired half my team.
And let me tell you why, because in ENFJ, I understand this very, very much. We see the best in people and what they're going to excel at. We do not see their weaknesses.
Exactly.
And one of the great things about being with Rob is that's all he sees.
I know. I love it.
But like we'll be like I'm selling this home. It'll be on the market by the time this airs.
Beautiful home. My God.
You like it?
I love
it.
this home. I'm right now looking at the water, which is just, I'm sitting here and I feel so at peace right now.
It's got
so
a good
zen.
energy here, yeah?
Very good energy.
Great energy.
But we'll be, we're going to sell this and move into another place because that's what I do. I buy properties and renovate them and sell them, and it's a good way to increase my net worth. But we'll go into a house and I'll say everything that I love about the house and how great it's going to be. And he'll just accidentally touch one railing on the staircase and it'll fall off. He's got this ability
Well, see, that's why you make such a good couple.
We do make a good couple.
Yeah.
The other reason that I would say that you're successful was your willingness to learn and to
pivot when I had to.
Yeah, and I think we've done that. So that's a great segue, pivoting. The market has changed recently, and you both have pivoted in your bonds. Let's start with you, Paula. You used to be the queen of Zillow leads, And I don't think you are anymore. No. So let's talk about what worked for you for Zillow before and it has stopped working for you.
Zillow, they've changed CEOs through the years, all that kind of thing. And Zillow just keeps taking more and more from the agent. And as much as many agents feel and they get leads from them, Zillow really wants to be the agent. And now a lot of people are on Zillow Flex because I meet with a lot of people that are on that. And what they're starting to do, they're actually reaching out to the agents on the team without the team leader knowing and trying to get them to work for Zillow.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, I didn't know all the ins. And,
so talk about what you did like about Zillow before.
So at the time, it was premier agent for a certain zip code. And we had like 6 zip codes. And so I would get the leads for that zip code. And the more every single time, there's another space. All right, another $1,000, another $1,000. There's some people spending $40,000 a month on Zillow.
Crazy.
When you do the math, like my P&L.
No, wait, but it was working for you before.
So I feel that it was working. We were getting leads, and we were spending at that time, at the highest time, we were spending about $8,000 a month.
And it was cost effective then.
Not enough. I always work really hard at being at 75% at least profitability. And when I looked at it, they were closing houses and they were making money. But if I looked at my P&L, maybe I made $40,000 a year from it.
And a lot of energy was going into it.
A lot of energy when, why do, 40,000, I shouldn't have to make only 40,000 from having 4 agents actively working.
It's interesting because I know it since they changed the program, it's even less effective for you, and I believe you've walked away from Zillow.
I have.
And then there's some agents like Lilly in Montalto who still loves Zillow and she's working and it's doing well.
It's a hyper-local thing.
Yeah.
It's totally a hyper-local thing. Some people, you do pretty well.
So I have 3 or 4 zip codes, and we basically almost triple our spend. So as long as we're tripling our spend, I'm still doing it.
And are they primarily buyers?
Primarily buyers, but I have gotten a couple of listings.
Okay.
And still, I'll have people that go on, but I would say 95% of my clients that find me either know me because they see me everywhere, signs.
Because you do dominate your market.
I dominate the market, but
I hate that word, dominate. You have the broadest coverage in your market.
I own market share, basically,
right.
And that's huge. Google.
What are you doing on Google?
So on Google, it's all about community. They want to see that you really know the community where you work the best. We're focusing in on community this year.
Specifically what? Doing what on
videos?
Google?
Each town we're doing videos. And we're highlighting a specific community.
And Google, and that's on YouTube?
And then we put it on YouTube, and now the Google person that we hired is going to be taking all those because we found that we don't have enough long videos, because you need a lot of long videos in addition to the short ones. We have a great deal of short ones, but we don't have enough engagement. So she's working on the engagement because YouTube and Google go hand in hand. And so...
well, Google owns YouTube.
Correct. So she found that I've had so many different Google experts that they've screwed it up over the years. I don't even know what's happening with it. So she's looking at it closely, and then all the blogging is huge right now.
How did you find her to help you?
I found her through Tom Ferry friend in the ecosystem, who has trajectory brought her business up like at least an extra $20 million a year.
Now, you have an ISA, don't you?
So I just hired an ISA company, and that came from Kevin.
And where are they looking for their leads from to call?
Well, they're we're giving them all the cold leads.
And where are those cold leads coming
So
from?
it's calling around open houses to tell them about open houses. It's calling all the lead gens I've had throughout
Your
time. You know, whether any
That's in your
referral
database.
In the database of people that I've gone on CMAs and all of that, I'm calling. So I am proactively making calls to my database because that's where most of my people are. And
How did you get over your fear of that?
I have no fear of warm calling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some people do.
I don't, yes, and I have no fear of cold calling. I just don't like it. Because I don't know these people. They don't always know me. It sounds salesy. They know I'm not calling to ask them how they are. They're, you know, but I always, like, I have gotten a few expireds where I've said, all right, they told, you know, my coach told me to call this person. I'm just going to call. So I'll just like call. And then I realize it's not so bad. And then I can make another call and another call. And once you get into it, it's really not that bad.
Do you know we still can't call expireds in New York from the COVID?
Really?
Still can't call
That's
them.
crazy. What does
Well,
COVID have to do with it?
Because they never lifted the
Crazy.
COVID policies. We can't cold call.
Crazy.
Any other means of lead generation for your team?
Sphere is everything. We also, we're proactively sending out letters to people. We have postcards to let them know how the market is doing. And you will be surprised how many people are surprised when I tell them about the market in their area. Because not everybody knows what we know. Not everybody.
And I would say one of the things that you've done very successfully is you have used direct mail and EDM extensively, and that's one of the reasons that you're so visible in your market.
Correct. So the last postcard I sent out, and I'm going to share it with you because it was amazing, showing hyperlocal in her town what we sold. And I told my marketing person, you know what I want you to do? Because people see you sell. Okay, I sold. Great. Success. But what I sell it for? What's my list to sale ratio? Can I get them more money? So I put down the list price and then the sold price. List price, sold price. On 4 houses with their pictures, we can get, my list to sale ratio is 5.3% higher than any other broker in your market.
Done.
That's it.
Orly,
Done.
how do you generate leads?
So we also do a lot of postcards. We do a lot of past clients. So I really dig into my database with client events. I do a shredding event every year where I invite actually 2 towns to the shredding event. So people look forward to it. I think we've
Does
done
that generate business?
It does. I mean, people come to me and they go, I'll be ready next year, or somebody passed away. That's why I'm getting rid of the stuff. We'll need to sell their home. Just being visible in the community, giving back to the community, being involved in the chamber, sponsoring. I'm sponsoring a concert in the Botanical Garden where I'm inviting all my VIP clients, where I'll have a table with a charcuterie board, doing micro events with my clients. So I did a charcuterie making class in my office where I invited my top VIPs, and each one had to invite a friend of theirs, so you're doubling the database. It was a lot of fun. It was actually a nice team event, getting everybody to do it together. And then we had branded charcuterie boards that they got to take home with them. So we're doing a lot of things consistently, and that's really the key.
And you are Ringwood. Let's just be
Right.
Oh, she is.
Right.
It's
So, I mean, I would say 80% of my listings are come list me calls. I'm not up against anybody.
Yeah.
And the 20% where I am up against anybody, I probably get 70% of those. So it's nice to be the realtor in the area.
What CRM do you use, Orly, and what do you like or dislike about it?
So we use 2 CRMs. One is Top Producer, which I've had for 32 years, and it's not the best, but there is no best.
And everything's in it.
But everything's in it, and I still pull my anniversary lists every month from it, and I have information that I don't have in the other CRM, which is Command, which is proprietary to KW, where we have all of our transactions and smart plans and everything else. We use MailChimp for our email blasts, and we use Happy Grasshopper for specific database interaction, whether it's anniversary and birthday voicemails, texts, and then generic emails that just go out that aren't necessarily about real estate, just to create engagement.
Awesome. Paula, what CRM do you use and what do you like and dislike?
I have had Top Producer for 25 years, 20 years. I'm so trying to get out of it because it really doesn't do the things I want it to do, and it is, it's archaic at this point. It has to work for you. I get it. There's so many other programs out there right now, and pretty soon CRMs are going to be out.
They're going to change radically.
They're going to change radically with AI. So, especially. So we use right now.
I wouldn't even change right now. I'd wait till the AI effects come in and then pick your CRM.
Well, but I did change the CRM. My team doesn't use Top Producer. I have all my old from 20 years ago, but I finally got it to a place where it's clean and it's perfect. And so we download it in a CSV file. We have all those names. So all I have to do is turn off Top Producer. I don't need it anymore. It's just something within me that I'm afraid to let it go.
It's a crutch.
What are you using?
So we have all of our stuff in Sync, C-I-N-C. It's a newer business, but it has an internal drip system that you create so that you're constantly hitting whatever you downloaded into the CSV into Sync. Along with, we're with Fellow and Slack, and they talk to each other so that if we get a hand to raise, it will notify me in Fellow, and then I put the notes in Fellow, I call them from Fellow so that they know I called it, and it just tracks it constantly. So that's pretty much. But now AI is going to be able to take your whole file of your CRM, literally download it into an AI program, and this has been done already because Tom Ferry did it with, I think it was to call 5,000 people at one time. They did it in 2 to 4 hours.
Wow.
At one time with his message.
His voice.
His voice called all those people to follow up. Now, you can actually have a conversation with his voice thinking it's him, and he will answer the questions that person is saying on the other side.
One of the things
you will have an interaction with that person.
One of the things when I interviewed Lilly and Bob talked to me about how they're setting up with their CRM where all of the agents' phone calls are recorded through AI, and then the AI takes all the information out of that and puts it into the contact.
Correct.
So that's one of the biggest things that agents don't do is get the information into the contact, into the database.
And that's what Claude does too.
It's going to solve the problem.
That's what Claude does also.
How do you spell that?
Plaude. And you get it on Amazon. They have different versions. They have a watch that you could wear just and just put it out there for recording. Or I got the one that it magnets to your back of your phone, and then you could record your calls. But you just tell it, Mary wants, you could go to AI and you say, Mary Smith wants a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home priced at $819. I need all the homes that you have available that would fit her needs in the Northvale market, Northern Valley, go. And it will tied with MLS and pull everything out for you. You could do a listing presentation, you could tell it what you want, and it will spit it out. I did a whole market report on Westwood, putting on another app that's great, which is called Grok. It's Grok, and that is the most up-to-date AI right now in real time. So you could ask it for a market update, and it will give you in real time now. But believe it or not, ChatGPT is stuck in 2023. So you're not going to get the updated data. So you have to know which app to go to for AI that's going to help you with what. And I have a list of those that I know to go to for each thing I need.
Awesome. Any other apps or programs that you love that you're using in your business?
Well, I use Perfect Video for video. I use CapCuts for captions. And I use FilterTune to fix the lighting in the thing. Then I put it together, I send it to my marketing team, they'll put a thumbnail and they'll get it to all the social media sites, and we send it to the Google person too.
Awesome. Orly, any apps or software that you use?
Sure. So HomeBot, which is fabulous.
Yes,
we
use
have
that too.
We have all of our database in HomeBot, getting a monthly. So they get a monthly algorithm-driven price on their home. But what I tell people is, look, it doesn't matter if you're moving or not. Don't you want to have a baseline of where you are today, but as the market fluctuates up or down in the future, you'll be able to keep a handle on it every month, and I'm right in front of them, and then it tells me who's looking at it the most. So those are people that might be raising their hand, and I can follow up.
So have you seen that there may be a correlation between that?
Absolutely.
One of the things that you've done, which is really great, is you wrote a book. And why don't you talk to us about it?
So I realized that in growing my business and in talking to other agents, the overwhelm, the challenges, the frustrations that they were feeling, I felt like I could simplify it for them in the book that I wrote, which is called Mindset Reset for Real Estate Success, which is really about having work-life harmony as much as you can, where you're not focused on one or the other. It could be intertwined. And it starts for me with a morning routine, which I really purport to everyone, regardless of how successful you want to be, regardless of what business you are in. Because by grounding yourself every morning with which I use the morning mindset with Hal Elrod. So it's the savers. It's silence, it's exercise, it's visualization, it's affirmations, and most important to me is gratitude, which I then email to my tribe. But setting my day so that I've already done what I need to do to make myself whole. Then I go on a morning Zoom, which is a mindset with about 1,000 realtors at 7:30 in the morning. I'm in the office by 8:35. So having that consistent routine, you can build a business that is not only successful, but have a life worth living. Because if something is awry in your life, I don't believe you could be a success in business. You have to have both working for you and in harmony.
Makes sense. It's a good book. I've read it. I bought it.
Me too.
Thank you.
So we're going to wrap this up. You are going to give some words of wisdom about anything. What would you say to our audience?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. What I love about growing up in the real estate business is it allowed me to grow as a person, live with intentionality, where I know I have clarity on what I want, what's important to me, and I'm able to obtain it. And that's the gift that real estate gave me, is the abundance and blessed life that I can live today.
Yeah, it's an amazing industry because you're basically your own boss and you can make whatever you want to make out of your life.
But you have the freedom to surround yourself by wonderful people, such as yourselves. Be in a growth-minded tribe,
right,
where we're always growing and evolving and reading and expanding, as opposed to the sheep of the world who just live a very small life and just follow whatever. But it's living in a bigger realm that can give you so much more abundance.
How about you, Paula?
Learn as much as you can all the time. You stop doing the same thing because you're going to get the same results.
And I would say, in addition to that knowledge is power.
Exactly.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you both are very dear to me.
And to you.
You know, we've been there for each other for quite a few years. I had some major stuff happened the last few years, and the two of you were like there all the time, and I just want to say thank
love you.
And
Yeah,
I'm
we
so
love you.
grateful. I'm so grateful that we're besties.
Yes,
You two
we
are
are.
besties,
Yeah,
but we're
but-
besties in
yeah.
our own way.
But-
Yes, we are.
Yeah, but we love you so
Love
much.
you too. Well, that was fun for me, and I hope it was for you too. So as always, please like and subscribe. Until next time.